Hi guys, I'm Ursula, the fashion and beauty editor at sofeminine.co.uk, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how to do the Scouse brow, or the power brow as it's also known. Now the Scouse brow is a really key look this season, and we've seen it everywhere from red carpet to royalty. We've seen people rocking the look really well like Cara Delevingne and Kate Middleton, but we've also seen the look done badly, so it's important to get it right. Now the key to getting the Scouse brow look down pat is to make sure that you've still got a natural arch and that you're not going overboard. You don't want to look like your eyebrows have been tattooed on. The key pieces that you're going to need to do the Scouse brow are a high pigmented brow powder, or you can also use an eyeshadow. Make sure you have an angle tip brush, an eyebrow pencil, some eyebrow gel and a highlighter. Okay, let's do a Scouse brow. The first thing we need to remember is to use our natural eyebrow shape as a guide. We don't want to go too far away from that because otherwise it's going to look a little bit too drawn on. So if you follow your natural brow shape, you can't really go too far wrong. The first step is to brush your brow in the same direction. I'm going to be using Rimmel's Eyebrow Pencil, which comes with a brush on the lid. It's about £2.99 from Boots, which is nice and recessionista friendly. So just brush your brows in the same direction, just comb them over so that they don't try to fight with each other, and that's going to make things a lot easier from here on in. The next thing you need to decide is where you want your Scouse brow to start. And one of the key things of the Scouse brow is that it has a really strong angular beginning, and it's really impactful by having it right over here. To make sure that you're starting in the right place, you can line up your tear duct with the top of your eyebrow where you want it to begin. I'm going to just use a pencil to do that now, so I can see that it should start about here. You can even make a little dot to kind of show where it's going to begin. If you start too forward, too far towards the bridge of your nose, you're going to look like you have a monobrow. But equally, if you start too far within your natural brow, you're going to lose some of that Scouse brow shape. So I think here's a pretty good place to start. Once you've chosen where you want your brow to start, it's time to start filling it in with some colour. You can either use a brow-specific product, you can use a brow powder of a high pigment, or you can even use an eyeshadow which you have already in your makeup bag. Just make sure that it's a shade or two darker than your natural hair colour, and that way you'll really get some nice impact. I'm going to be using a MAC eyeshadow, this one here, which has got a really good pigment base. So literally just charge your brush up, and it's also important to mention that you should be using an angle brush, an angle tip brush like this. This means that you have a lot more control when you're creating that strong brow shape, and it means it's a lot easier to use. Okay, to show you what I'm doing in detail, I've come a little bit closer to the camera. So basically, charge your brush up with the colour that you're using, tap off the excess, and then get to work creating that brow shape. You can use the edge of the brush just to kind of give that squared off look. And by using a powder, it's going to look a lot more natural. Sometimes if you use a pencil straight away at the beginning of the brow, it can come across as a bit too drawn on. So by starting with a powder, it gives it a little bit of a softness. Then just work the colour into the rest of your brow. I mean, most of us have got some patchiness of brows from over plucking in our ill-advised adolescence. So just try and fill in those spaces with a little bit of extra powder. Remember, the more colour you build up, the more Scouse you're going to look. Really getting that square edge to the beginning of the brow is probably the most important defining feature of the Scouse brow. And remember to keep following your natural shape. If you do have thin brows, you can add a little bit of an extra volume to them, but just go easy. One of the best things about using angle tip brush is that you can also use it to add an elongation at the end of your brow, which will give you a bit more of a feminine look and really bring your eyes into focus. So you can already see that's quite a difference compared to my before brow. But it definitely still needs a bit of tidying up. So next thing is to just use a bit of a pencil to really sharpen those corners. Okay, so the next thing is to use your eyebrow pencil just to square off the edges and to really give your Scouse brow that impactful look. Rimmel do some great products for eyes, and they're all within about a £5 price range, which is why they're one of my faves. If you use little brush strokes like this, you kind of get that individual hair look, you're kind of mimicking that. So just using an upward stroke and a straight edge across here, you should be able to achieve that blunt edge. And then just very lightly, using a light pressure, just add a little bit extra to where you've already drawn your extra length to your brow here. The next thing you're going to need to do is set your brow using an eyebrow gel. I'm going to be using Blink. They specialise in brow products, and this you can pick up for about £15 from their website. And it's literally just a light brown product. You can buy it in different colours, so if you have blonder brows or darker brows, you can find the right colour for you. And this just really helps to set the brow in place and keep it from running away or wandering about your face. You don't need to use a lot of product. Just add a little touch to the top of the brow, work that in and along the rest of the brow, and that will make sure it looks good all day long. The final thing you need to do to perfect your Scouse brow look is to use a highlighter to really add that contrast between the strength of your brow. I'm going to be using a highlighter which is by the Balm Cosmetics. This is actually a face product, but I really like them because they have really nice cool kitsch packaging, and it gives a really good iridescent shine to the skin. You can use this on your cheeks, you can use it to highlight your brow bone as well as your collarbone if you're going out. So I'm just going to add a tiny touch on a soft angle tip brush to the underneath of the arch here, and this is just going to really bring my brow into focus and show off that really strong arch. You don't need to use a lot of product, and if you prefer a cream texture, you can use a cream shimmer. Elf Cosmetics have got some really good ones in different shades, and they're only £1 each, I think. And there you have it, a strong Scouse brow. And there you have it, the Scouse brow or power brow. If you are going to be sporting this strong browed look, remember to lay off the rest of your makeup. You want people to be looking at your eyebrows, so maybe just go for a nude lip and a touch of blush. You don't need anything else, otherwise you're going to look a tiny bit transvestite. If you liked my Scouse brow tutorial, please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment below, and I'll be back soon with much more beauty tutorials very soon.